This video is brought to you by Raid Shadow Legends. Check the link in the description below. I've talked before about how I got into playing Dungeons & Dragons using the basic rules cyclopedia, but another thing that was used to get new players into D&D was just board games. I personally played this giant black box one so many times over the years that I'm pretty sure my parents bought me multiple copies just to help replace all the lost parts I kept losing over the years. I think that's how I end up with a small collection of these red Dungeon Master screens anyway. But another board game that TSR released with really high hopes was this one, Dragonstrike. This was going to be a big deal. It got books, comics, even had a planned TV show. And for a board game, it's got a lot of stuff. Look at all this. 4 different maps, a bunch of figurines for monsters and players. It has 5 playable classes, all using really awkward live-action actors. The fighter looks about exactly what I'd expect for the time, and yeah, that sure is an elf. The dwarf looks like they tried to CGI him using MS Paint and gave him the smallest, most embarrassing axe they could find. This is the wizard? What's with the hat? He looks like a druid. And finally, there's a thief. But don't worry, they knew that playing as a girl is icky, so they included a boy thief too. The game rules are basically an even more simplified version of D&D Basic. The whole thing is played using D8s, D10s, and a D12. Basically, the back of the character card says to do anything, you need to roll a 6 or higher on whatever dice, with wizard spells being on cards. What's pretty cool about the game is that it comes with several pre-made adventures to play with your friends, but also some single-player ones if you're bored or it's impossible to get a D&D group together. So, you know, all the time. There's also space in the back for you to design and create your own adventures. Ever play Heroes Quest? It reminds me a lot of that, but with official Dungeons & Dragons branding and rules. Overall, it's alright. It's an even more basic way to get your friends into Dungeons & Dragons than D&D Basic. There's not much else to really say. What is this? What? Hyper reality VHS video inside? Hold on. Play the videotape before you read further. Oh no. You and I are about to go on a journey.
Feeling brave tonight? How brave? Brave enough to do battle with hideous monsters? Brave enough to sneak around dank castles in the dark and chance being the next victim of a Dragonstrike?
This dude rules! Are you kidding me? I want to do that! In fact... Feeling brave tonight? How brave? Brave enough to do battle with fierce champions? Brave enough to traverse dank dungeons and enter the world of this video's sponsor, Raid Shadow Legends. An RPG game for mobile devices with a rich, dark world, Raid Shadow Legends offers its own take on fantasy. Choose your heroes, equip them with the finest of treasures and artifacts, and send them down dangerous dungeons, caverns, forests, and more. Summon additional champions with unique abilities to bolster your team. You'll soon have your own favorite heroes, just as I have. But be warned, this is no pushover RPG. Ferocious bosses await you at the end. Defeat them for even more powerful items and level up your party. But as I discovered, these bosses require smart planning, choices, and careful selection of special attacks. This is no mindless RPG for phones. Choose your champions carefully, or assuredly suffer defeat. But you won't be alone. Use my link in the description below for an immediate advantage, giving you 100,000 silver coins and a powerful hero. Act now, as the free boost is only available for the next 30 days. Now you'll have all the knowledge you need to get started. Download Raid Shadow Legends today, and perhaps I'll see you on the battlefield. Alright, yeah, that is as fun as it looks. He explains the board game and what role-playing is, but not really?
This time I'm the Dragon Master, and you are the adventurers.
Floating Head Guy declares himself as the DM as 4 other unseen voices interact with him.
Open your mind, and I'll transport you to another realm.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, dude, what is this? Some sort of nerd game for nerds? Loser. We're then introduced to our wizard running from an evil castle. And yeah, he's still wearing that same stupid coyote hat and green facial tribal tats. He got bit by a dragon, and he somehow survives this with his maximum hit points of 4. We then end up at a different castle with some of the most hilarious 90s blue screen acting outside of the Star Wars prequels. The wizard stumbles in and collapses, and the thief immediately starts looting him. Honestly, that's probably the most realistic part of this video. Get this though, they establish a cleric in this video, but he's not a playable character. We could have gotten that instead of second thief. Oh no, they're under attack by the night shift of a spirit Halloween store.
As usual, you overestimate your accomplishment!
Oh, okay. Role-playing combat mostly involves fighting off-frame at each other and just adding spark effects. As expected, the thief pretends to help him. Oh, Jesus!
He'll return to peace!
My favorite actor of them all is definitely the fighter. He tries so hard and takes it so seriously, he's the best.
Quest with me to this den of evil where we will bind Taraptus and drive a stake through his heart.
And he looks like an American Gladiator. In fact, he was an American Gladiator. He was Malibu in the very first season. And if you don't recognize him here, perhaps you'll recognize him from his other most well-known movie role, and this is real, Motaro from Mortal Kombat Annihilation. But he's having fun with the role though, so, shoutouts to him. The elf shows up and gives some plot exposition so thick that even the Dungeon Master says, pay attention.
Now pay close attention, because the information you're about to hear could mean the difference between life and death.
Have you not noticed the darkness upon this land? The unholy darkness? It is created by a sunstone and comes from the castle of Taraptus.
The elf and the wizard convince the others to go with them to the evil castle of Taraptus and his army of the undead. The unseen players then choose their characters.
Can I play the warrior?
You're on.
Well, now what do I do?
As a warrior, your job is to be on the front line. You aren't afraid of anything.
Well, do I use any magic?
No.
Idiot.
Well, how about if I play the thief?
Your thief is more or less of the Robin Hood variety. She steals from the evil and gives to the good.
Not seen in this video? The thief doing anything good.
Close your eyes and imagine you are your character. Imagine you're a warrior with arms of steel.
Yeah, you lost me.
Imagine the treasure, the power, and imagine the evil you will smite on your great adventure.
Dungeons and Dragons. The adventurers finally set out and they just act weird. Like the elf sniffs the air and then... What the hell, dude? Jump scare! The elf finally addresses what the heck the wizard is wearing on his head.
I should tell you I don't like your headgear. Are you not familiar with the wizard's magical transformation? No, I am not. No animal was lost. I was transformed to a coyote to learn the ways of nature.
You mean like a druid? Something tells me you didn't learn anything of nature, since you get confused when the elf starts talking to birds of the forest, and then you didn't even notice when the tree starts to strangle him, dude.
An age, running brooks, and fireflies on summer nights.
Oh no! A Dragonstrike! And that's the dragon. Hyper reality. I love that everyone takes out their weapons and the director just said, just wave them around. Don't worry, we'll make sure you don't look stupid later. This might be the weirdest bit of the whole video. This creature is bickering to a fake-ass owl every time it says, who?
They tricked me! I just told you, me! Don't you pay any attention.
Hey, Elf! What is this thing?
You miserable...
An owlbear. They're not nearly as extinct as they should be.
Here, it's up you and me!
Try flattering him.
What? There's never been a bipedal owlbear, let alone one that speaks full common, or has tusks? How do you screw up an owlbear?
If I didn't want to be with the rest of these guys, could I go off on my own?
Of course. At your own risk.
Alright, this DM gets it. I like him. Nothing like splitting up the party and then punishing them for it. This video does do some things alright, like informing players to search for secret passages, or that you don't need to fight every battle, as denoted by these two orcs portrayed as two rednecks in a bar wearing pig masks. Speaking of pig masks, a minotaur shows up. Ooh, a little too close up. I have no idea what happened there. It's never explained and we never see him again. And that looked awful. I'm pretty sure I could do the exact same effect, but better. After the thief successfully picks a lock, the party comes up against a man-scorpion! That's better looking than the dragon, at least. And the rock.
And I'll cast a magic missile.
Wait, what the hell? That magic missile just missed. This spell literally says magic missile can't miss. That's the most insulting thing this has done to D&D so far. Magic missile missed. God, who do you think you are? 4th edition? The party then hears a dwarf trapped behind the wall, and they can tell he's a dwarf because, you see, he sounds like one. You know, like this.
Forget him and get me out, you idiot! Who's calling us idiot? If you know what's good for you, you'll use your thick skulls for something and find me, you fools!
Boy, sounds dwarfing.
Oh, that's racist. Just pretend you're checking the walls for secret passages. Don't worry, we'll edit this later so that you don't look stupid. They use the dwarf's magic hammer they found on the man-scorpion to break the wall, making them all drop like 50 feet. But it also makes the dwarf shrink down to like 6 inches or something. And the others perform a pratfall worthy of a grade school play. But then the evil wizard Teraptus arrives. The wizard casts another magic missile behind him for some reason. Teraptus then summons up a fire elemental to kill them, only, it dances around sexily?
All the men are mesmerized by the fire elemental.
Oh, I get it. They're mesmerized. Because she's hot.
Fire elemental is made of fire, and the sunstone is made of ice.
Let's put the two together.
I'll take 2 of the supports out with arrows.
And I'll take one out with a magic missile.
I've got a dagger for the other one.
Now you're working together!
Dungeons and Dragons! They shatter the sunstone and kill the fire elemental. And as usual, the thief starts looting before the battle is over. Then Teraptus transforms into the dragon, and he has 12 abs. Such unrealistic body standards for dragons. The party escapes through a magic mirror back to the king's castle, and I guess just leaving him to cause more havoc for later, so the DM makes an NPC solve the problem for the incompetent players. Again. And the party sets forth. Some say the real treasures were the friends we made along the way. And that's the end of their hyper-real adventure. I'd like to think
Do not turn the VCR off yet. This is a special section of the tape for Dragon Masters only. When everyone who is not presently interested in becoming a Dragon Master has left the room, we may begin. Are you sure nobody's listening at the door? Very well. Then we can proceed. As you've just seen, the Dragonstrike game is unlike any game you've ever played before. In what other game can you visit the nastiest castles in the world and bring your friends along for the ride?
Hero Quest, Descent, Warhammer Quest, Massive Darkness, Mice and Mystics, Heroescape, Catacombs, Legends of Andor.
Now don't forget, a great Dragon Master isn't afraid to ham it up.
I would never overact. He actually does give some solid beginner DM advice, like thinking about enemy motivation and how it's okay to just make stuff up, even though he has a whole section about how the Dungeon Master can win the game, which is not how D&D works at all. And he talks about the most important rule.
In fact, there's really only one rule to being a great Dragon Master. The real object of the game is for everybody to subscribe. Now you have all the secret knowledge you need.
You know, for an instructional video, this doesn't teach you how to play the board game at all. It does do a pretty good job at showing how this is a game of imagination and that players should work together. Co-op board games were incredibly rare in the early 90s, and this video was extremely cheesy in all the right ways, but it's also completely unnecessary. I don't think you should try to go out and buy a copy of Dragonstrike anytime soon. There are far more board games out there that do the exact same thing, but better. You should try to watch that VHS tape in all its glory though. Don't even buy the whole board game. Buy just the VHS tape, and then after you're done with it, you can gift wrap it so that you can give it to someone who you'd think would truly appreciate it. Thank you so much for watching my belated D&D December video. Be sure to subscribe for more, and follow me on Twitch, Twitter, and Instagram.